Hello everyone, this is Benjamin T. Collier, also known as Poison Darthfrog, here with a wishlist video for the next season of Street Fighter 6. I've already gone over my 4-ish character picks, so now I want to talk about features that I'd like to see added. The number one thing I've wanted since the very beginning of Street Fighter 6, and was very surprised and disappointed when I found out the game didn't have it, is avatars in fighting grounds. Looking at the way the game is put together, I can actually see why the setup might make it difficult to add avatars to fighting grounds, because there's a lot of customization that goes into your character, including appearance and special move selection. And you only have one version of them at a time. And maybe that's why they haven't made it an option. So one of the things I want to do is present an idea of how it could work. The way I envision it, first of all, there'd be a new box on the character select screen, which would represent custom characters in general. Most fighting games with custom characters have this. They have just a box that opens up the list of custom characters from there. You'd select that, then a drop-down would appear in 3 separate stages. First, you'd select a body from all of your saved avatars. Then you'd select from any of your saved gear loadouts. Then you would select a fighting style. All 3 of these are things you'd have saved in World's Tour mode. If you're doing as much character creation as I am, and even if you don't, because actually it took me a long time to even realize I could save the gear loadouts. At first I was just doing body saves. For each of these dropdowns, it makes sense for the default first option to be whatever your World's Tour avatar is currently using, in terms of their current body, their current gear, and what fighting style you currently have equipped to them. Like how selection works in Dragon Ball Xenoverse, you've got your saved versions of a character and you've got whatever you're currently using. The game also allows you to save different sets of special moves for each fighting style, which I find really handy. So this makes sense to me, and I'd love to be able to select my various avatar loadouts I've saved in World's Tour mode and watch how the CPU uses them in battles against each other. Of course, another possibility is that this feature hasn't been included yet because Capcom just really doesn't want that to be an option. There may be technical reasons or tournament reasons why it would complicate things. If so, that would be a shame, but I could understand. Another feature I'd like to see, which is something I mentioned in my character wishlist, is the ability to change fighting styles mid-battle. There's a number of reasons for this. Mainly, I find that I often want to experiment with a new fighting style and new moves, but find myself struggling against a surprisingly tough opponent, and wants to be able to resort to my emergency backup style and moveset if need be. So, mainly just as a way to experiment safely. How it would actually work, though, is a good question. Because the stance change itself could be a special move, but you'd have to make sure that whichever fighting style you're switching to also has a stance change move. And then too many fighting styles would have entire special move slots taken up with this one move dedicated to just stance changing. So, I actually feel rather that it should be its own input. Maybe a particular combination of buttons, or buttons plus directional inputs. That could be a bit tricky though. There's also the process of adding UI elements to the game to enable the player to have 2 fighting styles equipped at once, with one as the main. Either way I look at it, it sounds tricky to include, so it may just not be in the cards, but I can still wish. Another thought that came to me for fighting games that are continually adding new content, like Street Fighter 6, is the idea of flavored moves. This is something that could be in the store, given as freebies, or even put in the Battle Pass. What I mean by flavored is not the addition of entirely new moves that actually function differently, but rather duplicates of existing moves, with alternate visual effects applied. The most obvious example, because we've seen the reverse of this crossover in a Mega Man game, would be to have a version of the Hadoken that replaces the motion and fireball with Mega Man's Mega Buster. Most wouldn't change the animations though, they'd just be existing moves with special effects added, like fire or electricity. Even just changing the color of the energy emitted would count. Maybe change sound effects too if it seems appropriate. I feel like some version of this already exists in the game because there are NPCs that do what are functionally Dhalsim's various fireballs, but their appearance is a Molotov cocktail, and the impact sound is replaced with breaking glass. I'd like to see that made available for the player. I wasn't originally thinking of this in terms of flavored fighting styles as well, because not much comes to mind for that, but then I remembered the fighting styles that use weapons, like Lily, JP, and Mai. There could be a version of Lily's base fighting style that replaces her clubs with maces or baseball bats. Even just being able to swap her default clubs for the ones she uses in her alternate costumes. Same with JP, I guess. Those are assets that are already in the game, so it would be easy to include. And some people might be interested. Not as alternate things for the main roster, but rather thinking about how to change up special move options for your avatar. Maybe versions of Blanka's Blanka-chan doll that's replaced with alternative toys. Or even the knockoff Blanka-chan dolls, which, as we all know, our various masters all love. And a final note, something I'd like to see added, and I'll very openly admit I don't know how complicated this would be, but Street Fighter VI already has team battles as an option. I'd like to see tag added as an option for team battles. Now, I'm not enough of a fighting game connoisseur to know the fundamental differences between the programming for a straightforward 1v1 game and a 2v2 or more tag fighting game. Other than the obvious, there's a tag feature. I don't know what other elements needs to be added and whatnot. Obviously, you need to be able to have more things loaded all at once, so that you can tag fluidly between characters, but I feel like this already exists in the game. At least in World's Tour mode, it's possible to have, I think, up to 5 fighting characters on screen at once. Because I think you can fight up to 3 different people at once on the street, and also call in your master for an assist. Which has me thinking, there is a button specifically for calling in your master for an assist, so maybe the tag button replaces that when it comes to tag team battles and fighting grounds. It's a possibility. And on the subject of team battles and what already exists in-game, like what we already know the game is capable of, there was a feature I remember from Street Fighter Cross Tekken for team battles where you could actually have everyone out at once. There wasn't even a tag necessary, just have everyone out at once. And that I would also enjoy seeing just because I enjoy chaos. Like, would it make a lot of sense? Would it be good for tournaments? Would it be even something you're able to follow visually when trying to watch the fight? Not necessarily, but at the same time, kinda sounds like fun. And again, we already know the game is capable of having many characters on screen at once in a fight. It's capable of this. I don't know how much more programming would be necessary in order to make that an actual possibility in the game, but if that's possible, I'd be interested. And with that, I come to the end of my wish list. At least as far as I can remember at this time of recording. Wait! Shut up a minute, me! I forgot possibly the most important thing. The thing everyone's been asking for to see more of, and that is costumes. Now, Capcom does seem to be getting the ball rolling a bit as far as putting out a stream of new costumes now and then, and that's good to see. Personally, I don't have a lot of like original thoughts on costumes to add, but what I do have is examples that they actually give us in the game itself. Because looking up the gallery, in both cutscenes and art, there's these images that just pop up, mostly through World Tour mode, that shows these characters in different outfits, and some of them have been made into actual outfits, purchasable in the game, and some of them haven't been. And for a lot of them, I'm curious about why. Oh yeah, this is the first one I noticed. In her judo uniform. That seems like a cool idea. Might put some more respect on the character. Then again, maybe seeing the judo uniform combined with her ballet stylings might seem like it's poking fun at the art a bit, so maybe that's why they haven't done it. This outfit for Blanca, I don't know exactly what it's supposed to be, but it does come across as a kind of reverse Donkey Kong situation. The image that got me most excited was this one. This is an idea for a few characters. I don't know if there would be licensing issues, if they had to get like permissions from the Dragon Ball team to be able to do that. I think I'm just noticing, I think Zangief has a tail wrapped around him there. That'd be cool. I know El Fuerte isn't in the game at the moment, and I don't know if he's popular enough to make a comeback, but if he did, I'd like to see that outfit for him as well. Oh yeah, this was a different look for Bison. It's been a while now, I forget what the story was behind this, but really an outfit for a group that he used to belong to. Same group as Rose. It seems like it suits him in like a sinister kind of way. Oh yeah, so wedding dress Mai. Oh, maybe her fan could be replaced with a bouquet. And then she throws her bouquet at people. That would be sweet. Catch. So at the time that I'm recording this, I just saw the trailer for the new outfits for DJ and Elena. In the, what they are officially calling the swimsuit collection. Which was surprising that it wasn't this. I thought this would have been her swimsuit. The outfit they've got for her for outfit 4 does look like what I would call summer wear, which is also what I've been calling just that group for the most part, but they are now officially calling it the swimsuit collection, even though I don't think what Aki's wearing would count as a swimsuit. So the train's probably passed on that. But we got a safari outfit for her here. A lot of these outfits, they're just things that I think look interesting, just to see the characters in a different light. I don't know how many of them people would be willing to pay a lot of money for. Oh goodness. Actually, that's his suit, isn't there? I think there's a better picture of that. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good look for Sagat. With that just a little bit of tiger stripe there. That's a cool touch. There is something else. That smaller version of him in there with the championship belt. And appears to be before he lost his eye. It's not a huge difference visually, but... Oh, he's missing the chest scar as well. Yeah, only thing is when it comes to, like, differences in scarring or general aging, I don't know if they're allowing the alternative outfits in Street Fighter 6 to actually de-age characters, or if the idea is the characters are still the age that they are, they're just wearing an older uniform. Although, I mean, Zangief's costume before, which also is not what I would call a swimsuit, definitely more than just an alternate outfit. Here's some more. So, here's the thing. I don't like Luke. I feel like I never really understood what people meant by toxic masculinity until I saw Luke. There's something about this guy I've always hated. And most of his alternate outfits don't really change that for me. This one, though, this puts some respect on him. At least for me, actually seeing the outfit that he wore during his military service. That changes things, that puts a different twist on him that I don't think is represented in any of the outfits he's currently got. I feel like I could watch this guy in a fight and win, and not be upset over the fact that he's won the fight. You know, demonstration of hard work. I think that goes a long way. So this is an example of, not even just because I think it would look cool, just make this costume available just so that the character himself becomes more likable. I think that could help. A couple alternate looks for Ken here. Business. Just has reflections of the journey that he's taken since the last game. And construction worker. I was actually surprised that this wasn't an alternate costume sooner, as a way of kind of drilling into the audience's mind the changes that he's been through. Instead, his outfit 3 was like some kind of biker outfit, which looks cool, I'm not complaining. But I thought his outfit 3 would have been something more representative of the journey he's been on. And either of these seem more appropriate for that. But like now the game's been out so long that I feel like either of these would probably be just rehashing the past too much. Ah, student Aki. Like back before her hair had turned all white. She just got that streak there. That's a neat look. There was something else. It was a costume of hers that struck me as cool. I think it was this one. And it's not exact, but I feel like her outfit 4 incorporates some aspects of this, with the wrappings and stuff. I guess one difference is her outfit 4 doesn't have the, like, the ooze on her arm, like this image does here. But that as a concept could be applied to a bunch of different costumes, not necessarily that one. Like Alone. Ah, now then. So I think this is what Mai is wearing in her, like, waiting to be selected animation in Character Select. And I think I've seen mods where she fights in this outfit. So I think people want it. Very girl next door. Again, I don't know how many of these costumes people would pay money for, necessarily. Just pointing out what's catching my eye. Like this one, I had to take a second look at this to recognize that this is supposed to be Sagat, the guy in the back there doing the attack. And again, this is clearly a younger version of him, and I don't know if alternate outfits in Street Fighter 6 will do de-aging, or even if this look just applies to his current age will, like, actually look right. but one or the other or something in between. I think that's a cool look. Something else that's actually a classic costume that surprisingly we haven't seen yet is the doll uniform for Cammy. I'd like to see that. I think in Street Fighter 4 she also had an outfit that was based on M. Bison, but more feminized. I remember liking that one, so that'd be cool to bring back. And an outfit for Ryu that some people might like. And like I said, not a lot of original ideas coming to mind for me right now. I know next time holiday season rolls around, I feel like JP is the resident Santa Claus. At least as far as bearing the closest resemblance. I feel like it makes more sense to give him the Santa Claus outfit than anyone else. It would look good on Zangief as well. Maybe Lily as like a Christmas elf. She doesn't look like she could pull that off. I feel like I want some more kind of gladiatrix themed outfits for Marissa, like maybe kind of Mad Maxified. So right now she's got this, she's got I think business and wedding dress. And so that's only really her default outfit that has a specifically warrior vibe to it. So I feel like more along those lines would be good. Maybe a wrestling outfit, just because apparently Zangief is her, like, romantic target. So maybe as a way of trying to get closer to him. But looking at what I think is her default vibe, I'd say something Mad Max. And I know people have been making this comparison, so this is not a particularly original thought, but getting some kind of collab with K-pop Demon Hunters to get C. Viper a Huntrix outfit. Some people might like that. And depending on what kind of direction Capcom wants to go as far as dark versions in this game, because I don't know if they plan on having a dark Ryu for Street Fighter 6. But if not, then I'd like to see maybe Dark Ryu as an alternate costume. Maybe some legacy costumes, because I think there's 4 characters here that are legacy characters in terms of fighting styles. Like they're taking over the fighting style from an older fighter. Like Kimberly here taking over from Guy. I don't think she has an outfit currently that's based on like it being a copy of his outfit. And Aki, of course, is taking over from Fang. And she too, I don't think, has a costume that's all that similar to his. Maybe that student one that I mentioned earlier, or a color variation of that. Jamie here, actually, he's not a fighting style legacy character so much as he just happens to be related. Or was it adopted? I forget already. He's connected in some way to Yin and Yang. So I guess technically that would be 2 costumes. But that could be done. Now, Lily and T-Hawk, some of that could work. You'd have to make some changes, because I think his top is like an open vest, which sometimes looks good on a woman, but keeping in mind Lily's a minor, let's keep her more dressed up, please. There's also a part of me that's like, if El Fuerte's not coming back, which I don't personally expect. I don't think anybody's asking for that. but of course Capcom may do it just because they want to. But if he's not coming back, I feel like somebody should inherit the mask. And I don't know if that's necessarily anybody here. I think it could look good on Honda, could look good on Zangief, could look good on Blanca. But also, I still want to see our Mika come to this game, and she's probably the closest to the luchador style, so probably makes the most sense for her. Even though I think she generationally is taking over from Zangief more than anyone. I mean, yes, Alex is gonna be a wrestler too when it comes out, but I don't think he's going for the luchador vibe, personally. And that's all the ideas coming to mind right now. So, what if scenario, if we only got one more season of Street Fighter, what are your absolute must-haves? Who do you absolutely need to see added to Street Fighter 6 before they stop adding new characters? What features would you like to see? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. So thank you all so much for watching. Hope you're staying safe, and I'll see you later.